In a distant forest lived a wise old owl named Oren, known far and wide for his wisdom and clarity of thought. Oren perched atop a grand oak tree, his eyes surveying the vast landscape below, a serene picture of forests, rivers, and meadows. A young rabbit named Remy had heard tales about the owl's wisdom and sought his counsel as he was facing a profound dilemma in life. Remy's journey was arduous, filled with trials and tribulations, but he knew that the wisdom he sought was worth the effort. After many days of travel, avoiding foxes and crossing streams, he finally reached the grand oak tree where Oren was perched. "Honorable Oren, I have traveled far to seek your wisdom," said Remy, his voice tinged with both exhaustion and hope. Oren looked down from his lofty perch, his eyes meeting those of the young rabbit, and in that moment, Remy felt a sense of peace wash over him. "I hear your words, young one, and I sense the weight of your quest," replied Oren. "What seems to be troubling your spirit?" Remy told the owl about his internal conflict, how he was torn between living a life of safety within his burrow or exploring the world beyond. "There are dangers in the forest, predators who see me as a mere meal, yet there's a voice within me that longs for something more," said Remy. Oren listened attentively, nodding every so often, absorbing the layers of emotion and complexity that surrounded the rabbit's words. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Oren spoke. "To confine oneself is to embrace safety, yet to explore is to embrace life." Remy felt as if these simple words had touched the very core of his dilemma, addressing both his fears and aspirations. "But Honorable Oren, how do I decide which path to take?" asked Remy, his eyes wide with anticipation. "Life is filled with choices, young one, and each choice carries its own set of risks and rewards," Oren said, unfazed by the complexity of the question. "You must listen to your inner voice, for it will guide you toward the path that is meant for you," he continued. Remy felt a sense of empowerment, believing that maybe, just maybe, he had the strength to face his fears and make a choice. Oren sensed the change in the young rabbit, the subtle shift from doubt to courage, from fear to faith. "You have come a long way, not just in distance, but in understanding," said Oren, "but your journey is far from over." With those final words, Remy thanked Oren and began his trek back home, his heart lighter and his spirit emboldened, knowing that the choices ahead were his to make. As Remy journeyed back to his burrow, the words of Oren echoed in his mind, shaping his thoughts and fortifying his resolve. Along the way, he met Fiona, a young fox who had heard tales of his visit to the wise owl, her curiosity piqued by his audacity to venture so far from home. "What brings a rabbit like you to a place like this?" Fiona inquired, her eyes reflecting both skepticism and genuine interest. Remy looked at Fiona, aware of the natural dynamics that typically existed between a fox and a rabbit, yet he sensed something different in her demeanor. "I went seeking wisdom, and wisdom is what I found," Remy replied cautiously, wondering how the fox would react. To his surprise, Fiona's expression softened. "Wisdom, you say? That's a pursuit I can respect, even from a rabbit." Remy felt his initial apprehension dissolve, replaced by a budding curiosity about the young fox. "Tell me, Fiona, what is it that you seek in life?" asked Remy, venturing into a realm of conversation that few animals in the forest ever explored. "Freedom," Fiona said after a thoughtful pause. "The freedom to roam these lands without being confined by the reputation that precedes me as a fox." Remy nodded, understanding all too well the limitations that labels and expectations could impose. "In a way, we're both striving to break free from the roles the world has set for us," he said, reflecting on their unexpected common ground. Fiona looked at Remy, her eyes meeting his, and for the first time she saw not a rabbit but a fellow seeker of wisdom and freedom. "You have a unique perspective, Remy, one that I haven't encountered before," Fiona confessed. Feeling emboldened, Remy decided to share what he had learned from Oren. Life is filled with choices, and each choice carries its own set of risks and rewards. Fiona considered these words deeply, seeing in them a mirror to her own struggles and aspirations. "You know, Remy, you've given me something to ponder," she said, her voice tinged with newfound respect. They parted ways, each affected by the other's insight, their perspectives broadened in a manner neither had anticipated. As Remy continued on his journey, he felt as if a new chapter had begun, one where wisdom would be his guiding light, and freedom his ultimate goal. He returned to his burrow that evening, not as the same rabbit that had left, but as one who had grown both in understanding and courage. And so, under the soft glow of the moonlight, Remy pondered the choices that lay ahead, embracing both the risks and the infinite possibilities. Seasons changed, as they always do, and the forest was now adorned with the vibrant colors of autumn. Remy found himself at a crossroads, literally and metaphorically, standing before two distinct paths in the forest. One path was familiar, leading to his cozy burrow, filled with safety, but also with the predictability that had begun to weigh on him. The other path was untrodden, filled with the allure of the unknown, its twists and turns hidden behind a veil of foliage. As he stood there contemplating, he remembered Oren's words: to confine oneself is to embrace safety, yet to explore is to embrace life. Gathering his courage, Remy took the untrodden path, his heart pounding with both fear and exhilaration. Almost as if guided by an unseen hand, he discovered a meadow he had never seen before, its beauty magnified by the golden rays of the setting sun. There he met Olive, a wise old turtle who had lived in the meadow for many years, her slow pace belying her rich experience. "You look like a rabbit on a mission," Olive said, her eyes twinkling with curiosity. Remy shared his story, the journey to Oren, his encounter with Fiona, and his choice to explore the path less traveled. "Ah, the audacity of youth combined with the wisdom of the old. A rare but fascinating mix," Olive remarked. "You know, young one, exploration is not just about discovering new places. It's also about discovering oneself," she added. Remy felt as if Olive had unveiled another layer of truth, adding depth to his understanding of what it meant to truly live. "But what if I make a mistake? What if the path I choose leads me astray?" Remy asked, revealing his lingering fears. "Mistakes are but stepping stones on the path to wisdom," Olive responded, her tone filled with the assurance that comes from a lifetime of experience. "Every choice, every mistake, every triumph forms a chapter in the book of your life," she continued. Remy absorbed her words like a sponge, feeling as if each syllable was a drop of wisdom nourishing his soul. "Your journey is your own, Remy, and the choices you make along the way will shape your story," Olive concluded. Thanking Olive for her wisdom, Remy felt as if his soul had been lit by the fires of insight, burning away the remnants of his fears. He continued on his way, not as a rabbit lost in the wilderness, but as an explorer, mapping out the uncharted territories of his own existence. Winter descended upon the forest, covering the landscape in a blanket of snow, transforming the familiar into a world of sparkling wonder. Remy felt the chill in the air, but also a warmth in his heart, a warmth fueled by the wisdom he had gained and the choices he had made. During this season, animals of the forest often gathered to share stories and celebrate the spirit of community. On such an occasion, Remy met Tessa, a courageous squirrel known for her adventurous climbs and acrobatic feats. Tessa was intrigued by Remy, having heard whispers of a rabbit who had conversed with owls, foxes, and even turtles. "You're quite the talk of the forest, aren't you?" Tessa remarked with a playful smile. Remy chuckled. "If only being talkative made one wise, I would be a sage by now." Tessa's eyes sparkled with amusement. Wisdom and courage are a potent mix, one that creates legends. The two found themselves engaged in a deep conversation, talking about life's complexities, its twists and turns, its highs and lows. "So what's the next chapter in the legendary tale of Remy the Rabbit?" Tessa asked, genuinely intrigued. "The next chapter is unwritten," Remy said, his eyes gazing into the horizon. "But I have the pen." Tessa was captivated by his words, seeing in them a reflection of her own endless thirst for adventure. "Would you like to climb a tree?" Tessa suddenly proposed, her eyes twinkling with mischief. Remy hesitated, aware of his limitations as a rabbit, yet also aware of his newfound philosophy to embrace life fully. "Why not?" Remy finally said, embracing the challenge with a mix of trepidation and excitement. With Tessa's guidance, Remy managed to climb a small tree, his paws grasping branches he never thought he'd touch. The view from above was exhilarating, offering a perspective he had never before experienced. Sometimes, all it takes is a change in perspective to realize how boundless life truly is, Tissa said, her voice imbued with a wisdom beyond her years. As they descended, Remy felt as if he had climbed not just a tree, but also another level of his own self-imposed limitations. The evening ended with a sense of accomplishment, a reaffirmation of the idea that life is a rich tapestry woven from the threads of choices and experiences. Spring arrived, breathing new life into the forest, filling it with the melodies of chirping birds and the vibrant hues of blooming flowers. Remy felt the pulse of the forest resonate with the rhythm of his own heartbeat, each beat a testament to the journey he had undertaken. One fine morning, he felt an irresistible urge to revisit the grand oak tree, the starting point of his quest for wisdom. As he reached the base of the tree, he looked up to find Oren perched majestically, almost as if expecting him. "Ah, young Remy, you return," Oren said, his voice filled with a warmth that felt like a gentle embrace. "I return, but I am not the same rabbit that left," Remy declared, his eyes meeting those of the wise owl. Oren looked at Remy and smiled. "Indeed, you are not. For life is change, and to live is to grow." Remy shared the lessons he had learned, the friends he had made, and the fears he had overcome. "You have walked the path of wisdom, and the footprints you've left are yours alone," Oren said, a tone of reverence in his voice. "However, the path doesn't end here. It's a lifelong journey," the owl added, emphasizing the infinite nature of wisdom. "What should be my next step?" Remy asked, eager for another nugget of wisdom to guide him. "Your next step is to live, to continue making choices, to face challenges, and to seek wisdom, not as a destination, but as a constant companion," Oren advised. Remy felt humbled yet empowered, aware of the complexity of life, but also of his own ability to navigate it. "Thank you, Oren, for being the guiding star on this journey," Remy said, his voice tinged with gratitude. "The pleasure has been mine, young one," Oren responded, "for in guiding you, I have also learned." The two shared a moment of silence, a silence filled with the unspoken bond that connects teacher and student, guide and explorer. Remy finally took leave, his spirit invigorated, his mind enlightened, and his heart filled with a quiet sense of joy. As he hopped away, he felt as if the forest itself was acknowledging his journey, each leaf a silent witness to his quest for wisdom. Oren watched as Remy disappeared into the landscape, his heart swelling with pride for the young rabbit who had become a symbol of courage, wisdom, and the beauty of transformation. And so, Remy continued his journey, not as a seeker of wisdom, but as a living embodiment of it, forever cherishing the lessons he had learned and eagerly awaiting the mysteries that life still had to unveil.